The war in Afghanistan is far from the only issue preoccupying our federal politicians. The tobacco plain packaging law is set to pass Parliament, but the tobacco companies are fighting back. They're launching an immediate legal challenge, saying their property rights are being stripped unjustly. But who'll win? Both sides claim the law is on their side, as Hayden Cooper reports.
It's been a journey that's taken decades, from advertising
Peter Stuyvesant, the international passport to smoking pleasure.
to sponsorship.
Today marks the beginning of the end of cigarette sponsorship of sport and culture in Australia.
To warning labels, and now the packet itself. The tobacco industry's last bastion of self-promotion is about to fall.
This law will be a big win for families who have lost a loved one to tobacco-related illness. And in Australia, that's 15,000 people each and every year.
The passage through Parliament of the plain packaging legislation is a milestone moment for the Health Minister. Overwhelmingly, politicians of all persuasions took the view that this is a move that will save lives. Richard Di Natale is a former GP.
I've been with them as they lose weight, as they struggle for breath, as they lie in excruciating pain. It's a death you would not wish on your worst enemy. And sadly, it's an experience that is all too common.
People will be able to raise.
But Nicola Roxon has not reached the finish line. On the contrary, this is just the beginning of what could be a long and bitter dispute.
Once this passes through and goes to royal assent, we'll be moving immediately to the High Court to be challenging the government on this plain packaging legislation because we believe it's unconstitutional.
British American Tobacco and its competitors are uniting for this impending legal fight, and the world will be watching.
What's occurring in Australia is really quite groundbreaking globally in terms of plain paper packaging for cigarette products. And so if the tobacco manufacturers were to lose the case in Australia, the knock-on effects and implications for their market globally could be quite significant.
There are several legal avenues in play. Already the tobacco companies claim the new law contravenes international treaties, including one struck with Hong Kong. Professor Don Rothwell says that case could go all the way to Washington.
This bilateral treaty with Hong Kong seems to be the route in which they will be using to try to take the matter possibly to the International Centre for Settlement of Investment Disputes in Washington.
Then there's the High Court. Already it's been a thorn in this government's side. Could it prove so once again?
I'm very happy to say to the public that we are well prepared. I think we are on very strong legal ground. We won't be bullied by tobacco companies threatening litigation, and we are prepared to fight them if they do in fact take that step.
We've been pushed down this path. We've been saying all along we don't want to take the government to court, but Minister Roxon's pushed us into this corner, and unfortunately that's what's going to take place.
On the issue of acquisition of property, I don't think they have a strong position at all, no.
Like any case, there are endless legal opinions on who has the best chance. In layman's terms, even some of the finest legal brains see parallels with fiction.
It's the Constitution, it's Mabo, it's justice, it's law, it's the vibe, and no, that's it, it's the vibe.
In the castle, the acquisition of property drove one suburban battler all the way to a High Court victory. Lawyers say this case could centre on whether the government is actually acquiring property for its own benefit or simply regulating it.
It comes down to one particular issue, and that is whether the Commonwealth receives any measurable, identifiable advantage in terms of property from the legislation. I think the answer is that it does not. Although it takes away value from the tobacco companies, it doesn't give anything to the Commonwealth Government. And as a result, and following the most recent decisions on this section of the Constitution, I would expect that the tobacco companies will lose.
Hayden Cooper reporting.